just pause when you're done.
Okay. It grew from a seed I flicked into the back garden. A seed like a fish eye, slippery, shiny, and black. The tree has grown twice as tall as I stand on tippy toes. Brother
Coy
spotted the first white blossom. 4 years older, he can see higher.
Good.
Brother V
That
later
should be
found
Brother Vu. I accidentally think the U got deleted, so it's Brother Vu if you just want to add that in there. Sorry about that.
Brother Vu later found a baby papaya the size of a fist clinging to the trunk. At 18, he can see that much higher. Brother Kwong is oldest, 21, and studying engineering. Who knows what he will notice before me? I vow to rise first every morning to stare at the dough on the green fruit shaped like a light bulb. I will be the first to witness its ripening.
Very nice. Thanks so much for reading all that. That was very nice. So what is the subject of our text here? What is Ha talking about specifically? What is she focused on? It's for anybody. Jose, what do you think the subject of this text is? What is it all about? You there, Jose? Jose?
Miss, I told you who's gonna turn on his volume.
Nah, hold up. I'm here. I'm
Did
doing
you
something.
hear the poem?
Huh?
Did you hear the poem that we just read out loud? Nashla just read it out loud.
No.
Okay, so can you read that quietly to yourself real quick? Because that's what we're spending the first part of class doing. So I don't know what's going on, but make sure you read the poem Papaya Tree underneath and then be following along because we're going to be discussing as a class. Okay? Okay, that is a yes. So I kind of just gave it away because hint, we have a title here. So what is the subject of this poem?
Planting, or like not like planting, but like seeing the papaya tree growing.
Yeah, so seeing or planting the papaya tree. So I would just say the subject, the focus of this, and the title oftentimes gives us a hint or even gives us the info, is the papaya tree. That's what this poem is mainly focused on, is her talking about this papaya tree, even though of course she talks about other characters and other actions. The main focus is the papaya tree. So I'm going to make a comment, insert comment right at the top with the title, and just put for myself that the subject equals papaya tree. That's what this poem is mainly focused on. Doesn't mean that it's all she talks about, but that's the focus point for this poem, is the papaya tree. And again, a lot of the time, the nice thing about these poems, or that we're reading a book with free verses, a lot of the time the title is going to give us a little hint about what the poem is going to be focused on, because the title gives away information. So when in doubt, don't just rely on the title, but use it to help you. All right, can someone raise their hand? Because I'm trying to look, I might call on someone who I haven't heard from, but I want to see if anyone who hasn't spoken yet would answer this question. So raise your hand if you'd like. If not, I may call on someone. Is how did the papaya tree start growing in the first place? What happened? How did the papaya tree start growing in the first place? So raise your hand if you know. I may call on somebody. I would like to start hearing some new voices. Everything I'm going to ask comes straight from the poem that should be hopefully in front of you. So how did the papaya tree start growing in the first place? Leilani, go for it.
Miss, that means you can't comment on me no more.
Is that what that means?
Yes.
Okay, well, for the most part, that will
Yes.
probably be true for a little bit, though doesn't necessarily
Okay.
mean that, but I'll cut you a break after this. Go ahead.
It says from a seed someone flicked into the back garden.
Good. So she, ha, that because I flicked, the person narrating is ha, we said, flicked it into the back garden. So what does it mean? And Leilani, answer this part of it because you were spot on, is if you're flicking something into a garden or if you're flicking something anywhere, how is she doing it? What is that action? What does the word flicked tell us?
I don't know. She threw it? What?
Yeah, she threw it. Did she mean to go out and plant it? Did she
No.
yeah, she did. It was kind of this unintentional act. So you're right. She flicks it. She just kind of throws it back there. So I do want you guys to highlight. So take your cursor and then highlight in yellow that word flicked, because I want you to notice how the author doesn't say it grew from a seed I planted in the back garden, or I put in the back garden, or I placed in the back garden. It grew from a seed I flicked into the back garden. So flicked, kind of like Leilani said, is more the act of throwing or doing something unintentionally. Ha does not intend to grow this papaya tree. She is just flicking the seed back into the garden, and then something happens with it. So I do want us to think about that word flicked. And again, hopefully you're highlighting and adding in your comments because this is your grade for today, and it will also help you with the questions you're going to work on independently in a few minutes. So this was not a planned garden. It was not a planned growth of the papaya tree. It was an unintentional kind of throwaway of a seed. Anaya, once the seed gets flicked into the garden, what happens with the tree that she didn't plan for? So after the seed gets flicked into the garden, what happens with the tree that maybe she didn't plan for?
The tree has grown twice as long.
Exactly. So what the tree has started to just immediately start growing. And I'm going to hold up quickly. Oh, where is that? My mess of a. I'm going to hold up the cover of the book again for you guys, because what did we talk about was on the front of the book? In the front of this book. Go ahead, Shaylee.
You said that it was a papaya tree.
Yeah, a tree, and we can now infer, like you just said, that it's a papaya tree. It's a tall tree here. And Anaya just told us this tree seemed to grow twice as tall. So obviously her seed that she unintentionally threw back there has started to grow into a full-on papaya tree. And again, we see that on the cover, and now we have an entire poem about it. So if she has a poem about it and it's on the cover, what does that tell us about this tree? It's probably what? Can shout it out. If it's on the cover of the book and it has its own poem within the first few pages, what can we kind of infer about this tree?
It's important.
Yeah, it's important. It's going to be important throughout the book. And I will say it does show up continuously, as you will see. So why don't you guys go ahead? I just highlighted the tree has grown twice as tall. I put that in another color just so I could be aware of what happened after this seed got flicked back there. Good. A few more little things we're going to look at, and then there are some questions I'll let you guys work on either out loud together or independently. Who else do we learn about in this poem? Who else do we learn about, or who else is talked about? Xavier, who else is talked about in this poem? What other characters are brought into conversation?
Her brother.
Good, her brother. And how many brothers does she actually have?
Mm, 3.
Yeah, good. 3 brothers. So I'm going to highlight each of their names. I'm just going to put those in green again. And what we're going to do now in our margin is I do want to make a quick list of these brothers and their ages because they're actually revealed in this poem. Because this will be good for your understanding just in general because they are again brought up over time with the book. So we have 3 brothers, Brother Coy, Brother Vu, and Brother Quang. We said at the beginning of class today that Ha is how old?
10.
So again, I want you guys to make sure you're making this list in your margin. You do insert comment. I'm going to put Ha, the youngest, and I'm just going to put a 10. Then we have Brother Coy. How old is Brother Coy? Based off what is written.
$14.
Good, 14, because he's 4 years older. Jose, how old is Brother Vu? Because I know you went to go read that poem. Jose.
Yes.
How old is Brother Vu?
18.
Good, 18. And can you tell me how old Brother Quang is too?
21.
And please make sure you're getting these notes down so that you get credit for today. So Brother Quang's the oldest.
Yeah.
Ha's the youngest, and then we have Koi and Vu in the middle. So just make that list for yourself. It's good for this poem, and also just to keep in mind the order in which they come in, because they will be brought in and brought up throughout the story. Good. And then the last little part we're going to look at is down at the bottom. I'm going to leave this up just for another 30 seconds. Make sure you're getting it down. Am I good to scroll down? Does anyone need another minute? So the last thing we're going to look at is the last 2 stanzas. So when we do vocab, I believe tomorrow, stanza is going to be one of the words. A stanza, again, is just this paragraph of text in a poem. So each little box of text is a stanza. So for instance, this would be the last stanza. I will be the first to witness its ripening. So instead of calling them paragraphs like we would in a story or a book, poems are called stanzas. So in the last 2, I'm going to read these out loud again, and I want you to think of what other poem a similar situation occurred in, and also what it's revealing about Ha. What other character traits do we get about Ha from these last 2 stanzas? I am going to call on people, so just make sure you're listening. I vow to rise first every morning to stare at the dew on the green fruit shaped like a light bulb. I will be the first to witness its ripening. What do you guys think this shows about our main character here? Anyone want to raise their hand? What do you think that those last two stanzas show about our main character? Alexiani, you there? You there, Alexiani? Last call. All right, moving on. Annalise, are you there? I'm wondering what these last two stanzas, I'm going to highlight. You guys don't have to highlight them. I'm going to highlight them just so you can see where I'm looking. What these last two stanzas show about Ha. You there, Annalise? Did everyone go back to bed this morning? All right, someone else help me out. How about this? What does it mean to vow to rise first every morning? I vow to rise first. What is a vow?
Like
Why
a
is she saying
promise.
yeah, a promise, right? I promise to rise first every morning.
Miss, I
She's
bet
not-
his computer's not letting him join.
I'll call him in. We'll see if that helps. So a vow, and I would highlight, I'm going to unhighlight all of this. I would highlight the word vow. That's another word like flicked that is put in place for a reason. So this specific choice of diction is to reveal something about our character. So she's not just saying, I am going to rise first every morning. It's I vow to rise first every morning. What does that show about Ha? If she's vowing to rise first just to stare at the dew on the fruit, what is that telling us about her? Someone take a guess even.
Is she a loving person?
Yeah, she's a loving, and specifically she's loving towards what or cares about what?
The tree.
What is she caring most about? I don't know if someone said it and got cut off.
The tree.
Yeah, the tree. So this shows her, love and dedication to the tree. Oops, not to the three, to the tree. Right? She's promising, I'm going to do this every morning. I'm going to stare at the dew on the fruit. There's not even much she's going to do to it. She's just going to say she's going to do what? What's the action she's going to do? Is she going to take care of it?
She's going to wash it.
Yeah, to stare at it. She does mention in that first poem that she's been nurturing her tree, so she does take care of it. But right now she's just saying, I promise I'm going to just stare at it to make sure it's doing okay, right? She's showing that love and dedication to the tree. So she is a caring person. She is a kind person. She is trying to take responsibility.
She's also patient.
Patient, yeah, that's true. How come you say that?
Because she's always staring at the tree, and sometimes when you stare at a tree, it takes patience. And she's
Yeah,
also
if you're
caring
staring
for
at a
the
tree, maybe you have some patience. That's a good point. I then want to draw your attention to the very last line. So the entire last stanza I'm going to highlight. I will be the first to witness its ripening. When else has Ha wanted to be the first at something? Guys, remember, when else did Ha
The
want to be the
toad,
first?
the tile thing.
Yeah, good. So on that holiday, anyone remember what that holiday was called?
Tat.
Good. On Tet, Ha also wanted to be the first to tap her toe on the floor. And here she is again saying, I will be the first to witness its ripening. So again, and someone else tell me, what else can we say about Ha? If she likes to be first, how could we describe her?
An eager person.
Okay, she's eager. Ahmed, I'll catch up in just 1 second. If you do want to pull up this poem, it's okay that you have it in front of you, even if you weren't here on Friday for the other reading. It's called Papaya Tree Passage and Questions. It's under assignments. And then I'll get you caught up. So Papaya Tree Passage and Questions. So she's eager. She also, I think I said it, I'll put it down, responsible. Also, what do we know? Who else is noticing things about the papaya tree up above? Who else were people that were looking at it and kind of taking care of it and seeing it as well?
Her brothers.
Her brothers. And her brothers were also the ones who had to do what, which she didn't like. What was she opposed to her brothers doing back on 10? Mentioned it already, because what did she wanted to be the one to do it? What did the brothers have to do first?
They had to be the first to like step on the tiles or something, but she did it anyways.
And she did it. So what does that tell us about her and her brothers? How does she feel about them being a little bit older and getting to do things?
Maybe that she doesn't like it and she don't think that is fair.
Yeah, it doesn't. And think about it too. If you're the youngest sibling and your older siblings have all kind of the power in the house, which they do. We talked about the men being the ones with the power. It seems that she's a little bit what of them? Jealous, right? So we see that she's a little bit jealous of her brothers, and she wants to show that she's mature enough to take care of this tree. So wants to show that maturity.
Wait, Miss, it's called the papaya tree?
Yes.
Papaya or papaya?
Papaya. Do you know what papaya is?
Yeah, papaya.
Fruit. And I'll catch you up in a second because the people are going to start working on questions anyway. So just make sure you guys get that last comment down.
Is this the one about like they got more with the girl like up
Yes.
in the tree?
Yes, it is. Yes,
Sorry,
yes.
It's been a while.
I know you weren't here on Friday, right? Or were you?
I wasn't here.
Okay, so hold on 1 second. Have that up in front of you. If you wanna, you can skip the activator because obviously you weren't here for it. But why don't you just do a read through the poem while I explain the questions, and then I'll catch up.
Where's the poem?
So I'll scroll back up to the poems right on that page, the papaya tree one. If you scroll down. So everybody else, hopefully I'm going to go back up to the annotations if you need another minute, but if you scroll down, there's 3 questions. These questions should probably not even take you the rest of class because to be honest, if you just were listening and copying down your annotations, my hope is that these will be relatively easy for you because we just talked about all of them while we annotated. So if you want to spend the next 10 minutes or so, however long it does take you, we have about 15 minutes left of class. You can work on these questions. I don't mind if you guys want to talk out loud with each other or message in the chat about it. But work on these 3 questions and then just when you're done, let me know and I'll let you know what you can do next, depending on the time. Okay, so I'll put the annotation for the last one back up. But once you get the last annotation written down, you're free to start doing those questions. And this is your classwork grade for today.
Miss, what does it mean when they say how